is former US Fed governor. He's with me now from Austin, Texas. I sort of think the way it was described by Larry Summers is exactly the dilemma in the true sense of the word.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, Milton Friedman, my predecessor at University of Chicago of many, many years, probably 60 or 70 years ago, said that monetary policy has an impact with long and variable lags, and that hasn't changed. And Larry's analogy is exactly right. It's possible that they could be doing too much, but I think it's very important that they have acted as they have, because otherwise things could have gotten out of control.
You think monetary lag, which when I was always taught 7 to 9 months, do you think it's got tighter as a result, say, of a faster moving economy, e-commerce, all the various things that when the rules were written about 9 months, monetary lag, but we do things much more quickly now. Information travels much more quickly.
So I think certain ways that Fed policy can move more quickly. So there are so-called forward guidance when they say, okay, we're going to keep low for longer, or we're going to go on this particular path. That has an impact on interest rates. That's pretty quick. But the overall impact on the labor market, on production, that still takes a while. And remember, the Fed only started tightening in March. So we're just a little bit more than 6 or 7 months in. And so we're probably going to be seeing the impact this fall and winter in terms of the unemployment rate going up, in terms of the economy slowing down.
What's the effect, what's the cumulative effect where you get multiple rate rises in short order? It's hard to tell now which of the 75 basis points will be the one that starts to bring down the inflation, because as I understand it, there is a 1 + 1 = 3 when you start doing this number of rises.
Well, it certainly has a very big impact, and we don't have that much experience with interest rates going up so rapidly.
Yeah.
So it could be a little bit different than just if you raise that the same amount but over a longer period of time. It's likely that it'll have a bigger impact. You're starting to see that in the U.S. housing market. You're seeing a lot of areas, almost all areas of the country, housing prices coming down, and that's the delayed impact. We don't know how much they will go down,
Right.
but they will start to go down.
I want you to listen to what Mark Carney said, former governor of the Bank of England, who you'll know. We were at the IMF and we were talking about how markets punish bad behaviour by governments. This was obviously in relation to the UK fiscal mini budget, because what everybody said is, you know, if you want to really know why Liz Truss resigned, it was the market what done it. Listen to former Governor Carney.
There's a few quick lessons from the UK experience.
Don't do it.
Well, the first is that all of us are operating in a different risk environment, and mistakes will be punished. And that's true for any country. So that's first thing. The second is, yes, in that environment, institutions matter. The transparency, the guidelines, the restrictions that come with institutions help guide both monetary and fiscal policy, so they matter. Thirdly, the numbers need to add up.
None of those things happened, of course, in the case of the UK. But this idea of mistakes will be punished. I remember the days of the bond vigilantes in the 1980s and 90s, where they got a lot of flack for the fact that they were forcing companies to do things that might have raised unemployment, for example. Is the market the right place to punish?
Well, so I think that's one area. Obviously, another area is at the ballot box. We have the midterm elections coming up in the U.S., and obviously there's been a lot of tumult politically in the UK. So I think it is one factor to take into account, but I think it shouldn't be the only factor.
Randall, everybody is pretty much in agreement. There may not be an agreement on whether there will be a recession, or I think there's a consensus building. But even those who see a recession in the US say it's not going to be the 1980s Volcker again.
I think that's right, because the Fed has actually gotten, even though they've been slow to start, they've moved very quickly. And the two big differences with the late 1970s or 1980s. One is that inflation expectations have not gotten out of control. even a few weeks ago, before the markets really realized that the Fed's serious about this, inflation expectations over the intermediate to longer run, let's say 5 to 10 years out, really had just been in just the upper part of the same range they'd been in for the last decade or so. So the Fed had not lost credibility with market participants. It certainly did in the late 70s, early 1980s. Second, for the US, we're in a dramatically different position when it comes to energy. We're a net energy exporter. In the late 1970s, we were super dependent upon energy imports. And that's why I think there's going to be a big difference between what happens here and what happens in Europe.
Randall, it is good to have you. Thank you for putting perspective into all of this. I'm grateful.